last bit from you then, Phil. Thoughts on next season? Chris Wilder, just get you that in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Well, I think in terms of the end of this season, it was probably, I think it was probably about right that we ended up missing out on the playoffs. I think in terms of when you look at the way that we started last season and the way that we kind of were in, I suppose, in the latter days under Neil Warnock, there was a lot of questions to be kind of asked about the squad and whether they actually had what it took to challenge for promotion. And I know that there was a few signings brought in January and a lot of players kind of stepped up to the mark, which was great. But I still think that we just kind of weren't quite good enough to get in the top six, which obviously proved in terms of the table. But I think going into the summer, I'm quite optimistic in terms of what's going to happen next season. Everything's sort of in place. You've got Chris Wilder in place. You've got Kieran Scott, who's in place. So there's kind of like a bit more strategy to the recruitment, which I can't even remember the last time there's been a of like notable recruitment strategy. So I'm intrigued to see how that works out, because in theory that should be a good thing. I think it just seems quite a clear focus going into next year, really. They seem to know what they're looking for this summer. It's quite clear who's going to be leaving the club. So hopefully there's not going to be any late surprises or anything like that. Everything seems quite strategic and quite thought out, which is a novelty for a Middlesbrough fan, really. So, so I think going into next season, assuming that everything kind of goes to plan this summer and they get the players that they sort of want, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be in the top six next season. Top two is always going to be difficult in terms of the quality of club that are coming down from the Premier League, and Norwich and Watford are inevitably going to get promoted again next year, aren't they? Because they do it every second